All life on Earth needs water to exist. Approximately 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. Of this, only 2.5% is fresh water. Of the 2.5%, only 1% of the world's fresh water is accessible for direct human use. Rainfall is a major component of the water cycle and is responsible for depositing most of the fresh water on the planet. There are 307 million people living in the United States. The average American uses 100 gallons of water a day. It is our most precious resource.
My water comes from probably the big tanks and stuff that are around the city water.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Somewhere in Suffolk County.
Reservoirs.
Like the Long Island Sound?
A well?
Some kind of plumbing system, I don't know.
I guess some kind of really pretty crystal clear spring? I don't know.
Sky.
Or the ocean.
The ocean. Reservoir.
Lakes.
All of Long Island's water comes from the aquifers below the Earth's surface. These aquifers are formed as a result of the water cycle. The water cycle is the continuous movement of water on, above, and below the Earth's surface. The sun begins the water cycle by heating the water in the oceans and the seas. That water evaporates, turning into water vapor that rises into the air. Rising air currents take the vapor up into the atmosphere, where cooler temperatures cause it to condense into clouds. Air currents move the water vapor around the globe. Cloud particles collide, grow, and fall out of the sky as precipitation. Most of the water falls back into the oceans or onto land as rain, where the water flows over the ground as surface runoff. A portion of the runoff enters rivers and streams and is carried back to the ocean. Runoff and groundwater are also stored as fresh water in lakes. Some of this water infiltrates deep into the ground to replenish the aquifers, which store fresh water for long periods of time. This process is known as percolation or recharge. Most runoff water soaks into the ground as infiltration. Infiltration is the process by which precipitation moves through the soil into the ground. The groundwater then flows within the openings between grains and sediment from areas of higher elevation towards areas of lower elevation. Over time, the water returns to the ocean where the cycle began.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Through pipes, I'm sure, from outside. They pull it up from the ground, must filter it somewhere, and bring it into the house.
Comes from pipes underground?
Underground?
A major question that's always on people's mind is, where does the water come from? Most people are so used to turning on the faucet, they don't give it a second thought. The water is below your feet, many hundreds of feet down, so we have to employ pumps to pump it up. We used to use storage tanks, and there's still a number of them around, but it has become just as easy to sink several wells in one well site, and when the demand comes, you just flip on another well, and it goes directly out to the water main. When I say directly, the only thing that gets done to it here is we have to add chlorine to kill any potential bacteria. That avoids, at the end, a potential problem. If there's nothing living in it when we give it to you, it should be pretty good when you receive it. The other thing we have to add is, since our water on Long Island is a little acidic, we have to add calcium carbonate, which will raise the pH, and it actually coats your line a little bit so it doesn't eat away at your system. I'm superintendent of 2 water districts. They are separate and they are owned by the people within each district. The St. James Water District was formed in 1945. The Smithtown Water District was formed in 1948, and the town took over a private water system off of Meadow Road. And in the late 40s, this was still all farm country. And little by little, it turned into a development after development. And that's how this district grew. As each development came in, they had to put public water in. The system's 2 districts are both governed by the Board of Water Commissioners, which is also the town board, but they act separately as the Board of Water Commissioners.
The Smithtown Water District covers the area from Jericho Turnpike north into San Remo, west to Washington Boulevard and Comac, and east to the Nissaquag River. We service approximately 5,800 customers at the Smithtown Water District.
My responsibility is maintaining infrastructure of the water district. The mains, the hydrants, the water services, maintain the street valves, any road reconstruction from the highway department or state. We have to make sure all our valves are uncovered and raised to grade when they pave. Moving services, water services when they're doing drainage work. Repair of the hydrants, maintaining of the hydrants, pressure testing of the hydrants. Supervise all our workers. We have to read the meters, change meters. Just really the maintenance end of the operation of the water district.
We have 2 water meter readers who go out and manually read the meters at every household and business in our district. They bring the reports back with the readings on them, and we have a special water program in our computers to calculate gallons into cost.
Most residential meters are either 3/4 inch in size or 1 inch in size. And we have 2 types of meters. Ones that are inside the home. Any meters, I would say, over the past 25 years are placed outside the people's home in water meter pit vaults. So we can access them anytime we want. Don't have to gain entry to the homes. Although we have reading systems that we can hook up that we can read from the outside, the meters that are inside the people's homes, it makes it a lot easier for us and them. So those are 2 basic types.
We bill the customers every 3 months. Minimum usage for a customer, regardless of what they use, is 267 gallons, which equals $18.43 on their bill. Of that bill, $15.25 is what we call a base fee. That covers the infrastructure of the water district. Presently, the cost of water is $1.59 per 1,000 gallons.
After 9/11, there was an act passed in 2002, the Bioterrorism Act, and it applied to all utilities. We used to be very open and transparent and have the school kids come out and show everybody how everything is done. All that is now forbidden because you can do bad things to a utility if you knew how to do it. So a lot of it, information was removed, and there's just not that much public access to certain areas of our operations. We have to cross-train in case all of us here die from, you pick the problem, the airplane crashes into our building, whatever it is, water still has to be supplied. So somehow we have to cross-train so that somebody can step in. Everybody's been to each other district. They sit there, they know everybody, they know we have all the maps. Should something horrible occur. And so there's not a lot of stuff that has to go on. People are very used to seeing all sorts of water reclamation things, sewage treatment plants, which a lot of the country has to drink that water. And certainly you can't throw that type of water back into the bay untreated, so that all gets treated. But that has nothing to do here with the water you drink. It's pumped up pure, as if Grandpa had his little hand pump and was pumping it up. We mechanized it.
Conserve water, take less showers.
Not letting the water run when you're brushing your teeth.
Fix your leaky faucets.
Water your lawn shorter periods of time.
Shut it off while you're shaving is something I do.
Shower together.
No, make sure the faucets are off and not leaking all night.
It's not dripping.
Dripping.
I love that. I love your That's fantastic.
That's a very good. I'm married 57 years. You never said that before.
The biggest thing we emphasize is, now that summer is coming, to shut your sprinklers off at 5 in the morning, because if you are up and around, you'll see almost every house on your block has a sprinkler going. We can't give water for sprinklers and for people taking showers trying to get to the train in the morning and go to work early enough. There has to be a cutoff. By 7 o'clock, we're back to normal as far as usage goes. Sprinklers, it's like opening every faucet in your house and just letting it run. That's a lot of water going out.
We have a lot of people who call after the summer months because they have an exceptionally large bill and they don't understand why. One of the reasons in the summertime is sprinklers, sprinkler systems. People have some extensive sprinkler systems in their yards, and one single head of a sprinkler will put out 3 to 5 gallons of water a minute, which when you add it up, with how many sprinkler heads you have and how many zones you have, it can get costly.
People do overwater. If you have in-ground sprinkler systems, that's 80% of your water bill. People water every day, twice a day. If it rains, a lot of people do not have rain sensors on to make the sprinklers go off, so we can have an inch of rain, the next day the sprinkler system still comes on. That is the biggest waste of water.
The Smithtown Water District offers a number of water conservation devices free of charge. Among them is a rain gauge. You can determine how long to run your sprinklers by placing a rain gauge in your lawn. By checking it after each rainfall, you can determine the amount of rain and adjust your watering time. It can also be used to gauge how much water your sprinklers deliver in an hour.
I've been on lawns where you can squish across them. That's how soaked they are, overwatered. As soon as it gets down to a couple of inches in depth, you've watered it enough. You don't have to water as much in May as you do in August. You may water once a week. In August, if it doesn't rain, you may want to water once every other day. Most people overwater the lawn, but they want a beautiful green lawn, and there comes a point where you may be putting too much water on it. And the more fertilizer you put on, the more water it needs. It can become a vicious cycle for some people. They just can't stop.
Older shower heads would give up to 5 to 6 to 7 gallons a minute. I believe ours, the maximum we go up to is like 1.5 to 3 gallons per minute. So you do that over a 5 or 10 minute shower, it will add up to what you're conserving in water.
Another water conservation device is the shower coach. It is simply a timer that you place in your shower stall. The shower coach alerts you when your 5-minute shower is up.
People talk about, I have a leaky faucet. A drip here and there doesn't give you a gallon a day. 1,000 gallons is $1.52, 58, somewhere around there. 1,000 gallons. You're not losing a lot. Toilet leaks could give you a couple hundred gallons over a few months, but you should hear a toilet leak. As soon as I go into a house, I can hear it, and it's just going right out the back, maybe a gallon a minute or so, and that adds up over 3 months.
The Smithtown Water District urges you to conserve water. Visit one of our offices to find out how and to pick up any one of our water conservation devices.
We would like people to conserve, but we're never out of water. And I think our water is coming from a cleaner place. Reservoirs is collecting rainwater, unfiltered rainwater. They have to filter their water. We're tapping from the most natural resources.
Try to preserve what you have, because once it's gone, you can't bring it back. In water, I cannot predict what will happen in 50 years. All I know that we are responsible for conserving now, and the future generation will judge us later on how well we did.